A sulky, over-bulky, kinda hulky superhero. A two-fisted and electrically transistored superhero. An exotically neurotic and aquatic superhero. The Marvel superheroes have arrived.
Well, hello, and welcome to Shut Up and Watch. It's been a year since I last made a podcast. I still have one sitting in my computer from last summer that I have not edited.
What was the movie?
It was for like a general like most rewatched and rewatchable movies with Emma. Oh. But it was like there's already so much outdated stuff. Like we're talking about like what The Incredibles 2 will be like.
Oh no, that is we know. So it's good.
That will eventually come out, probably with a little disclaimer at the beginning. But anyways, I'm Alicia Devereaux. I don't know if that's... And
throw that in there.
I'm here with my only guest ever.
I was wondering when you called me in, I was like, have there been many since then? I'm glad to know that this is just a consistent thing.
I made, what was, like, I guess the last one I did with was Ready Player One or
that was a great one.
Quiet Place first.
I liked Ready Player One.
Quiet Place was after that.
Maybe I don't remember.
So
now
that was
they're
the last
blending
one
in.
I did with you, and then I did one with Kate, and then one with Emma, and I uploaded the one with Kate. I have not uploaded the one with Emma.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast verse.
It sure feels good.
Yeah, it's into the podcast verse.
I got my White Claw. I got my co-host.
We're in the library. Key place for this.
Really just a recipe for fun. Today, we'll be talking about Captain Marvel.
There's going to be a disclaimer. I'm going to call it Captain America at least 3 times because I've done that already 400 times.
Connor warned me that you're a bit of a hard ass about seeing every Marvel movie. Is this correct?
Yeah. I mean, for me...
He was like, yeah, she told me if you haven't seen all of them, you've basically seen none of them.
No, because some people were asking, they're like, can I see Infinity Wars without seeing XYZ? Like, which ones do I need to see? And I was like, truly all of them.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way, like, in order to understand Iron Man, you need to watch all of them. Like, listen, also I'm a little biased. I do remember back in 2008 going in to see the first Iron Man, and I have not missed like a premiere since. You know what? So the rest of those people, they don't deserve it unless they've earned it and spent the money and the time on the 20 plus movies.
Not earned it. I have not seen. Okay, I've seen all the Iron Mans, but like they're kind of like a blur because I don't think I've seen all of them all the way through.
Oh my god, what? What else haven't you seen?
That's the real question. Down the table in case you decide to flip it on over. I haven't seen Age of Ultron because why would I?
But
no offense. I haven't seen either of the Thors before Ragnarok. I've seen like enough to know like
that's not even just like fair.
No, I've seen enough to know like what like during band or something they we're playing Thor.
No, but
so I know about Loki and stuff.
No, but pre-Ragnarok was a completely different series because Ragnarok is when they started adopting the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I started watching it when it got good.
Oh my god, this is so traumatizing.
And I never saw Guardians 2.
Wait, like
so. Anyways, let's dive right.
You're gonna watch Endgame and you're gonna be confused.
I actually do want to do a marathon.
Yeah,
if you'd be down to partake.
I need to. You're right. And I think here's the thing. I'll say this preemptively. If you're doing a marathon in order to like prepare for Endgame, I'm not saying you have to see all the movies.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying to get the full experience, to really relate to all these 4,000 characters, you need to understand their backstories.
Yeah.
Right? And then in order to do that, you need to see Iron Man from 2008. Yeah, it sucked.
I agree with all of this.
Oh, that sucks.
It's just like, haven't done it.
Okay, well, better late than never, I guess. You have, what is it, like a month and a couple of days?
A month. Yeah. Also, did you see the new trailer for Endgame? Because it sucks.
I have lots of thoughts about Marvel movies, as does, I think, many young men and women.
And also, like, I don't know why I, like, talk about trailers or watch them still, because all of them are garbage.
Well,
like, this one's especially
they're
garbage.
trying to keep everything mysterious, because right now, you have no idea what's going to happen, right? Like, will Captain Marvel...
No, you have a pretty good idea.
What do you think's going to happen? the world's going to be saved. Yeah, obviously.
Yes.
But like, how and why will people come back alive?
I'm guessing she's gonna, bring him back.
Well, I mean, what we've gathered, we in the Marvel community. Also, I want to clarify something.
Are you in the forums?
No,
Are you
okay.
part of the community?
No, here's the thing. I haven't read any of the comics, and I feel like I have to fess up to that because that's a completely different experience. I can't say the Marvel community with like a confident heart because I'm like, the movies are different than the comics, but we know it's going to be time travel. That's what we got. But they're trying to give us as little as possible. But this goes perfectly into why you should see all the movies, right? Ant-Man, right? Ant-Man. And the Wasp, okay?
The Ants-Man.
Right? The ants in your pants. We love Paul Rudd, okay? Paul Rudd, my little king.
Wait,
right?
I saw the first one, did not see the second one.
See, oh my God, see, and also Ant-Man the Wasp had a post-credit trailer that leads into Endgame, and it's hilarious. And also we know that Ant-Man's quantum leap technology that's in Ant-Man the Wasp is going to be included in this because the Tiny King is finally getting his time to shine on the Avengers screen. You know what I mean? Like this, we know, but the trailer is so mysterious. I was watching one of those like breakdowns of it and it was like, oh, the hair color is different here, which means it's this and that. And I'm like, can we just, let's just wait. Let's just wait.
Yeah. And I have watched I've delved into the YouTube, kind of realm of predicting what will happen based on the comics. But it's like at this point, I don't know. I would believe literally anything.
Yeah.
Because they just I feel like they just pick and choose random storylines.
We'll see.
Yeah,
there's nothing we can do but wait until April 26th because Robert Downey Jr. is bringing out the movie early for us. Remember that?
No.
No, remember the movie was supposed to come out May 2nd or 5th. And then Robert Downey Jr. just tweeted, "Hey, friends, y'all want to see the movie early?" And everyone's like, yes. And he was like, okay. And they just moved up the date.
What?
I think that they moved up the date to match with international releases because they don't want any spoilers. But no matter what, they pushed up the date by a week. Speaking
of spoilers, I was doing a little bit of research before this. And I found out that the guy who, the part where, this is kind of jumping ahead a little, but whatever, where Veers, aka Carol, goes down to the Blockbuster and she talks to the security guy and she's like, are you head of security around here?
That was a great part.
And that guy is I think his name is Barry Curtis, and he's apparently the head of on-set security for Marvel on literally every single Marvel movie, at least in this cycle. And so it's a little in-joke because she's like, are you head of security? He's like, yeah, but the movie theater has their own guy because he's literally in charge of not letting things leak. Offset. And there's this video of Mark Ruffalo ruining Infinity War, and he says specifically is Barry gonna get mad at me?
Wait, oh my God, that's so good. Yeah. That's a great Easter egg.
Star on the rise, Barry Curtis.
Oh my God. And that guy, he's been waiting years to just be thrown in a film. I love stuff like that. Oh my God, that's so great. Good for you, Barry.
Yeah. No, I thought good for me
good
and
for you
Barry.
for knowing, and then good, you're a team.
We're in this together. Well, maybe we'll start a little bit with walking through the plot. And then that way we can say things as they come up.
Yeah. Here's the question I have though. How much was the plot even significant?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. It's I know. It's it's basically, I feel scaffolding for planting certain things for the future Marvel universe, and then also just to make 90s jokes. And then everything is just kind of garb on top of that.
This was just, I've said this through line every time I talk about this movie, it's a vehicle to Endgame.
Yes.
It's just and it's an origin story that was necessary to understand Endgame, and I didn't see them building in any ways to further advance Captain Marvel as its own series or saga or anything like that. It's really just this isolated movie. If they make a Captain Marvel 2, I don't see what direction they're going in. They didn't build in enough peripheral characters that we can work off of. And
there is this does kind of contribute to the idea that it's just a means to something else, but the character Monica is Maria Rambeau's daughter is probably going to come up later because apparently she was Captain Marvel before Carol Danvers even was in the comics.
Oh.
Like, originally there was this guy named Captain Marvel, and then there was, like, Ms. Marvel, who was, like,
oh god,
like, like a wife or something, but then she was also, she worked at, like, NASA or something like that. People are gonna get, our fans are gonna get mad.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, comic books.
Just watch the non-existent tweets flooding. And then she, like, turned into Captain Marvel, but also Monica, aka Photon, a superhero named Photon, and in the movie, is it Marie or Maria? It is,
Maria?
is
I don't know.
Maria. In the movie, the side of her plane says, like, Maria Photon Rambeau, which is, like, a nod to that, I guess. But anyways, her daughter in the movie, who is just Monica in the comics, apparently becomes Captain Marvel long before, like, Carol Danvers does. Which is interesting. But anyways, I also think that the movie, at least, like, what it does do is show how Nick Fury, like, gets to who he is later. Because I was thinking about Solo and how, like, in Solo it doesn't really... Like, you don't get the feeling that, like, you understand when you walk away from the movie, that you understand, like, how Han got from how he is in Solo to how he is in A New Hope. And in this, like, you kind of, you're like, yeah, this is what Nick Fury would be like early on as, like, a rookie in S.H.I.E.L.D. and whatever. And how, like, as his, like, clearance got higher and he started to know more things, like, do more things, how he would become kind of, like, more of a, like, grizzled whatever.
Yeah, jaded. Yeah, and I mean, that's my thing. I'm like, this was just, like, set up, and I think a lot of the setup was either for, like things like Fury, where it's, like, fun. Like, watching Fury's, like, you know, transition from, like, a young S.H.I.E.L.D. guy, like you're saying, to his new form. So that was interesting. Like, watching Captain Marvel, like, discover who she was, but also, like, fun little things like the Tesseract.
Yeah.
Right? But then they also didn't explain how Mar-Vell had that Infinity Stone. Like, they still framed it as that was her, whatever, like, his core power, right? They didn't frame it as her having an Infinity Stone. Yeah. So I'm still sitting here, like, when they pulled the Tesseract, I was like, oh, throwback, baby, Tesseract shit. Yep. But then I was like, oh, like, but how? Yeah. You see, and that was, like, a fun thing, but it didn't actually add to it.
Oh, okay. I watched something where it makes sense. So, like, this is after the Hydra and everything, right? Oh. And so remember in Captain America, what's his name? The Red Skull. He, like, gets blasted by the Tesseract and it kind of, like, shoots him off into space. Yeah. And that's how he ends up in, on that planet in Infinity War. Mm-hmm. And so that, I guess, like, what happened to the Tesseract at the end of Captain America? Did it also blast off into space?
At Captain America?
Or did it just, like, get destroyed?
At the end of Captain America? Yeah. Or Captain Marvel?
Captain America.
Oh, it definitely didn't get destroyed.
I mean, yeah. But, like...
That baby's been everywhere.
Yeah. But it makes sense that, like, it has been... in the video I was watching, the guy was like, it makes sense that it's been literally in another galaxy, aka, like, with Mar-Vell, because otherwise, if it were still on Earth, it'd be like, how come Hydra hasn't been trying to, like, get it again this whole time? Like, it's clearly gone. And so, I guess it makes sense in that way. But then it yeah, I can't really think about anything too hard, and I think that's the key to the MCU.
Yeah, there are plot holes. Yeah, so I mean, like, we know. There's just a lot of questions I have, and so, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Tesseract thing was fun, but it doesn't also illuminate enough. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there were a lot of fun things about this movie, but, like, I very rarely was like, this is substance. Also because, like, you just need to understand who Captain Marvel is, like, in order to watch Endgame. You know what I mean? So this didn't have a lot of substance because, you know, this wasn't crucial to Endgame, but it was kind of crucial to contributing to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah. So, I don't know. I enjoyed the film. I enjoyed the plot for what it is. It's not a movie I'll ever see again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can imagine myself watching the original Thors and the original Captain America and Iron Man's, but this is all like, I enjoyed this because now I can watch Endgame.
I know. Yeah, very true. And even Infinity War, which was very much just a vehicle towards Endgame, I still enjoy it enough as a thing on its own. Mm-hmm. And like, I have rewatched it since then.
Well, that's because it brings together so many years of characters and plots. It feels
satisfying just to see people interact with each other. And that is what like this is building towards. It's just like establishing, who Captain Marvel is, and it just gets you excited to see her interact with like
Thor and stuff like that little end at the new trailer where she's interacting with Thor and he's like, I like this girl. I was like, oh, this is the stuff I was looking for.
Yeah, I especially want to see her interact with Iron Man. I don't know, like I feel like
interesting.
I don't know because like I just want to see her like kick Tony's ass or something.
Oh, well, Tony's apparently flying off in space looking for Peppa Pig, whatever. Pepper Potts pop up.
Yo, what the hell happened? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like I liked it, did not love it, fine with it. But like, I think that beforehand, I found myself more excited for this than any other like Marvel. That's the thing. When I say that I haven't seen every single Marvel movie, it's like I don't get that excited to see them in theaters. Like, I'm down for it and I'll go, but I'm not like looking forward to it. Noticeably. But with this, I actually like a week beforehand or 2 weeks beforehand, I was like finding myself really pumped for it. And I was like, why? What makes this different? And I was like, oh, it's a woman.
Yeah.
Ta-da! And, and I also realized that, like, I don't know, as I was watching this movie, I thought if this had come out when I was younger, I probably would have been so much more into Marvel. Like, if there had been a character like this who was, like, really popular, I would have been super into her as a kid. Yeah. And, like, way more into Marvel.
And I mean, it's hard because we're old now, right? Yeah. And so I know personally, I at least watch these kinds of movies with more critical eye, like, and I mean, obviously again, like the inspirational aspect of Captain Marvel is not necessarily geared at me, but you're right. If I was a little kid, all the inspirational things and she did, like at the end when, what's Jude Law's character's name? I forgot.
Yon-Rogg? I call him Yoni-Egg in my head.
Yeah, I just did not know he was in it. I don't know how I missed that, but
he looks good.
But also, like, they popped in blue contacts and called it Ed Day. Yeah. And I was like, why'd you even do that? Like, that wasn't necessary.
Evil.
True. But I was like, at the point when he was like, this is what I trained you for. Like, put down your, like, photon your hands and fight me. And then she like, blew him away. Yep. If I was, like, a little girl, I'd be like, oh, yeah. But it was really cool. Like, that you're right. I would have really been into this. Yeah. And I think, I mean...
Like, kind of regardless of the quality of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe if it were bad, maybe it would have been different. But I just think, like, seeing her... Because regardless of the quality of the movie, the character is still really good. Speaking of which, Brie Larson, oh my God, I loved it.
I was surprised. I was surprised.
I was totally, like... didn't know what to predict. And I think that for sure, her indie background helps so much. Like, her... delivery is very kind of like, I don't know, naturalistic, you know? Yeah. And it like, whenever she delivered a line, I never felt the like desire to roll my eyes or anything. Like, it never felt too heavy-handed. It felt like, and also, she's very like, obviously she's conventionally beautiful, but she's way more accessible. Like, you could see her on the street or like maybe be friends with her.
She did what Gal Gadot couldn't do with Wonder Woman. Yeah. Like she was everything that I think Wonder Woman tried to be and then failed. And though I know, and listen, I know lots of people love Wonder Woman and like are inspired by that, but Marvel for life, like who is DC? But like also like they just like made her like a super hyperbolized, still sexualized.
I mean, she's still wearing like heels. Yeah. I mean, they're platform heels, but you know.
But still, yeah. I mean, this did what Wonder Woman was supposed to do, but in a way that's actually like subtler, which it makes it more impactful because it's not like Wonder Woman. She
it's
rocks.
less girl power.
Yeah.
Like, and she's wearing actual armor from head to toe.
And not showing anything. No skin.
Yeah.
Like the way all the other superheroes are.
In fact, she has no skin.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think that it was like, I honestly didn't think about this until I listened to another podcast about it, but there was no romance. It didn't even process to me. And that's because it made the most sense for there not to be romance, and that's why it felt normal. Because, she's fucking busy. She has shit to do. Like, what? Yeah.
It would have been easy to have, like, Monica be a, like, male character who...
You mean Maria?
Maria, not Maria.
Yeah.
Monica. Yeah. Monica's
and people are actually saying that, like, there's some queer subtext there between Maria and
that. Yeah, see,
Carol.
that was also cool. I was feeling that, too, and I was just feeling a strong woman-to-woman connection that, like, oftentimes gets like glossed over or neglected. And like the whole plot line of her being like a single mother and like Carol like being there and supporting her. I'm like, it's because only women are good and all men are trash. Yep. So there you go. Like that's the only reason. Like this was just like a fully female powered scene. And like also even the part where, Carol and the other female who was on the blue team, the evil team, the girl that was in Crazy Rich Asians, she like even that scene, it wasn't like
Gemma Chan, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't malicious with like a malicious woman being like, "Fuck you." It was like, "Oh, like I just didn't like you." Like that was a nice little like subtle like real part.
Exactly. Yeah, I loved that.
That was a great. I laughed so hard.
Yeah, it's like yes. It is true. Not every single woman gets along with every other single woman.
I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, the part, I don't know why, but the part between Maria and Carol, when they're in the ship and they, like kind of, like, snap into zero gravity for a second and, like, they just kind of float and, like, look at each other, that part was, like, the part that made me tear up. And I feel like I don't know, it was so because something that did kind of let me down in this movie was like there weren't enough moments like that. Like in Wonder Woman, you know, I don't want to compare this to Wonder Woman because I think that's like dumb, but I'm gonna do it anyway, I guess. In Wonder Woman there's like the no man's land scene, which everybody says, but like even just like that part made me emotional, but the parts that made me tear up for this, like in the strangest way, were just like scenes where she was fighting in general. Like I remember specifically being in the theater and it was just kind of like not one of the central fight scenes. And I like started crying and I was like, what is wrong with me? And I realized it was because like I hadn't seen that before really in a theater ever. And in that way specifically. And I was like, God, this is so weird. Like, just the fact that I'm seeing this for the first time is, like, causing such a primal reaction. And then in Captain Marvel, I didn't get as many of those moments. And I think part of that might kind of have to do, actually, with, like, the CGI of it. Like, a lot of the scenes where she's kicking ass, she's like a ball of flame with like a helmet that covers most of her face, and like
that's very true.
And she's kind of whizzing around, and you're like, what was that? And it's cool because like she's in space and she's doing cool things, but it just like kind of took a lot of the emotion out of it for me.
And even the glowing part, because even when she like kind of comes up and glows, it's really powerful, but it's also still like a lot of like animation in that. Yeah,
I just hate. I hate CGI so much. But
that's what Marvel is.
Yep. Not quite as much as DC though. Boy oh boy.
Bless their heart.
I mean DC is just pure CGI plus like the color gray.
Yeah, I mean even like they're making the new Shazam movie and I watched the trailers and I'm like, I know you're going for the funny stuff and I'm liking it.
Yeah.
But this movie still looks black.
Yeah.
I'm like, how have you made like a fun movie dark?
Yes. It's infuriating. And like another good thing about this was like that she enjoys what she does and she has fun doing it, which is what like Marvel has been doing a better job at than DC, especially with Spider-Man. But at the same time, it still felt kind of grim at a lot of parts because, like, you know, when she spends half the movie trying to, like, remember who she was, it turns into, like, a pretty kind of melancholy thing. And especially, like, that one scene where she and Maria are out on that field at Maria's house, it looks like a Terrence Malick movie. I'm like, what is this? All of a sudden, we got, like, shaky, like, handheld camera, and we've got, like, dusk and, like, the sun setting and, like, this
the
very
whole scene
wide
at her house.
I was like, what is this? And it was, like, supposed to make me emotional, and it kind of did, because I was like, it was nice to see them, like, talk about who she was, and she's like, you're Carol, you're my friend and a pain in the ass, and they have a hug. But, like, it felt weird. It felt random.
And the same thing happened when they were at the table in the kitchen, and they were talking about, like, is it weird to see me back? She was like, no, the hardest part is that they brush on the rug. I'm like, you lost me. You could have had me. I cry like a baby at, like, a Stars Born trailer I used to cry at, right? Like, I'm like, that moment should have got me, but there was something missing.
I know. And I don't know. But, I wonder if that kind of, like, tension between maybe this, like, super Marvel-y, blockbustery, kind of, like, goofy Ragnarok-ish type of tone mixed with this, like, more melancholy amnesia plotline type of tone. Like, I wonder if that conflict kind of comes from the fact that both the directors come from, like, also indie filmmaking, and now they're kind of, like, thrown into this other genre. Which I think, like, in general was a major strength. Like, it made the movie a lot better. But I wonder if maybe there was, like, some trouble in the writing room or the editing room.
I feel like they, like, just, like, gave that to them as, like, a throwing a dog a bone, and then the rest of it kind of had to fit the trope.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was an interesting film to watch. But it didn't excite me for Captain Marvel. It excited me for Endgame.
Yeah.
And that was really it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Never will watch it again on purpose. Mm-hmm. But I liked also that it had so few characters. I liked focusing in on, like, basically kind of like Carol and Fury, and then they're like mild adjacents.
Yeah.
But I just, like, the plot, I was like, I wish you guys had given me a little bit more, right? It felt a little bit predictable. It felt a little stagnant. And it constantly also was like, she's smart. Like, she needed to have just, like, figured this out by now.
Yeah. That's what I think is bothering a lot of people. It's frustrating to see, like, her have her powers and not use them, and, like, not know that she has them for such a large chunk of the movie. And it's like, you just want to see her, like, go around and, like, smash stuff.
But this also, it feels like a cop-out, because it feels like, obviously, she's gone for decades, right? Before she comes back to Earth. So obviously by now, she's going to be incredibly powerful, right? And I'm just like, it kind of sucks, because Endgame to me now is just like, Captain Marvel's gonna come and use her magic powers to save the day, right? Which may or may not happen, but, like, I feel like this was a setup to just okay, you thought everybody else was strong, we'll just wait for this head bitch in charge.
Yeah.
Right?
And also, wait, logistical question. So is she not gonna have aged for, like, Endgame?
I don't
or
think
is
so.
it because, like, she's in space that, you know, like...
I think she's just not going to age.
Okay.
That's my opinion. But again, don't read the comics.
Yeah.
But my friend and I were arguing about this, about whether she looked older at the post-credit trailer when she's like, where's
her
Fury?
hair is flat ironed and she's wearing lip gloss.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, I don't think she looks older.
Yeah.
I think the blast gave her immortal powers as well or something.
Yeah. I was like, either she doesn't age since the blast, or, like, maybe because she's in another galaxy. True. Like, time works differently.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and the Skrulls thing, I'm like,
they're fine.
Again, a vehicle. Just like she needs something to do.
Yeah.
for 30 years, so we're gonna just give her the Skrulls.
But also it was like kind of fun. Like
True,
at first
they were
I
hilarious.
was like, ew, they just look like every other kind of vague sci-fi, like Alien or whatever. But it was also kind of like having that very familiar thing was almost more creative than like trying to change it, because first of all, you're just like, oh, this is very classic, and this is like set in the 90s, so it kind of adds that vibe. And second of all, it like further establishes the trickery of you thinking that they're the bad guys, and then like that being turned on its head, I feel like.
Yeah, and I enjoyed the humanistic character of their like interactions. Also, I enjoyed that like very rarely it's basically with these Marvel characters, it's like this is what they stand for, and they will not budge in either direction.
Yeah.
So I think a great part was watching her form her own beliefs and be like, oh, this is not how I perceived it. You know what I mean? Which very rarely happens in Marvel movies. So I did enjoy that a lot. And I like the Skrulls. They were funny and they were a cool addition. But you keep referencing this 90s thing, and I just didn't feel it as much as maybe you did. Like they did Blockbuster.
That was like oh boy, yeah, we get it, buddy. The Blockbuster thing, I was like, okay, that's almost like mandatory or something. Whatever, sure, I'll give them Blockbuster. But I don't know. I feel like they use the 90s things in a lot of the laziest ways, and they could have done, I don't know, like kind of had more fun with it. Yeah, it's like, yeah, 9 Inch Nails t-shirt, whatever. But
yeah, it wasn't creative. I like didn't feel like I was in the 90s. Like they had like the payphone thing, and that was funny. But everything else was I was like, why? And that was like, I'm like, that's a significant part of the plot, right? Is that Captain Marvel is old.
Yeah.
Right? And that like, this is the beginning of the Avengers. But like, I'm like,
yeah.
I was like, the Blockbuster thing was funny, but then also I sat there, and in the audience, obviously a lot of teens. And I was just like, this is interesting because, like, I think that what they had to do is they had to make the 90s relatable for everybody. You know what I mean? And, like, even us, we're born in 96. Like, we didn't experience the 90s.
Yeah.
Right? So they were just trying to throw in, like, easily identifiable 90s characteristics.
Things that, like, people like us have seen, like, on Tumblr, if not in real life.
Yeah, like I mean, I was there when
90s
Blockbuster
kids.
closed, like, and I bought all the DVDs right when I was like 12 or 13. Like, I know, like, I know, but like payphones and Blockbuster, there was more to the 90s than that. And then they had like the downloading thing.
Yeah,
and I was like,
oh, dial up and like Smashing Pumpkins, and yeah, it's fine. It was fine. It was all incredibly predictable, and like, yeah, I don't think it took advantage of it. And also, everything, at least everything on Earth, was very, like, not visually appealing to me. It kind of was not in the same way that DC is, where it's, like, drenched in rain and sadness, but, like, I don't know, just not, like, glossy enough. And, I can't quite figure out what it is.
well, you know what it is? I think they were trying to mildly use the pre-Guardians of the Galaxy, like, Marvel, because Marvel, used to be a little bit more intense, a little bit more direct. Like they weren't trying to fit the trope as much, which I enjoyed, because I'm so tired of seeing the Guardians of the Galaxy humor just be applied across the board.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's, even with, like, yeah, I know what you mean. It feels very, like, tired at this point, and it's like, let's just use music cues for everything.
And I think about the new Spider-Mans. Yeah. Right? First of all, let me just say how big of a grievance I have with Marvel for like advertising Far From Home as heavily as they have for pre-Endgame. I'm like, that's not a spoiler, of course, but it is a spoiler. Like, it's a major spoiler.
I am really confused by that choice. I was like, do they just figure that everybody knows that he will come back?
Right, because I was like, I didn't know. Look, I really, truly I'm trying to go into Endgame with an open mind. But like, if he's back, that means everybody's back, right?
Yeah.
So it's really, really frustrating. And also, all those Spider-Man movies are frustrating because they are just built for 12-year-olds, right? I'm like, I don't want to see Zendaya and Tom Holland. And listen, I don't have a problem with it, but I
thought it was good. I really liked the humor in Homecoming a lot. I felt like that was a perfect balance. It's not like, listen, I love Ragnarok a lot, but I do think it uses that as a huge crutch.
Yeah.
Like music and humor, just like kind of easy humor. And it's funny and I really enjoy it, but it's like, it almost feels like cheating in a way. But with Homecoming, I feel like it kind of struck a like pretty good balance there.
That is true.
And there was some offbeat humor. Like there was enough to kind of give everybody something. Like Martin Starr is in there, who's like kind of a more niche type of thing. And then like that, I think of that one scene in the hallway when there's like the chess club in the window, and he points and he's like, chess. That was probably the funniest moment in the entire movie to me. And it's like, kind of, I feel like that's made for the like Adult Swim audience who, like, I just feel like it was pretty multi-dimensional.
But they put Zendaya on screen without makeup and without doing her hair and said progress. And I'm like, listen, I'm really truly not mad about it. Like, but like also it's lacking. It's like they took Spider-Man in the complete opposite direction of the older versions. First of all, we're not going to even acknowledge the Andrew.
No, that doesn't count.
Those are terrible, right? But I was like, they've just completely strayed away from Spider-Man. But like also, they just keep giving us more Spider-Man. And I'm like, you hit the nail on the head with Spider-Verse. You hit it. Yeah. Dink, dink. No.
I don't know. Spider-Man has always been my favorite. I just love.
But how do you sit there and watch Homecoming when you know Spider-Verse exists?
I'll do it. I'll gladly
Into the Spider-Verse was truly.
Listen, I sit at home and I watch Spider-Man 3, so like I'll watch it all. I'll watch.
So you'll watch those over
I'll
and over
watch
again,
the
but
dance scene.
Oh yeah, it's a classic.
I love Toby. I know.
No, Toby's great. Toby is the peak.
Yeah.
I'm like, give me Toby.
No, I'm good with that, like, being left behind because I liked going... Toby, obviously, like, Tobey Maguire was not in high school when that was filmed. Tom Holland, you can believe he is in high school. And they really, like, play up the whole high school thing. Like, he is a kid, and he has high school things to do. And I thought that was cute and refreshing.
It was the first time, and now I'm like, a high school trip. Also, Tom Holland's like too cute. The only good thing he did is, I don't feel so good, Mr. Star. That was the only good thing he's ever done.
Why does he suddenly have like a Louisiana?
Yeah, and accent, like, I just love that part. I always go with my friends, I'm like, I don't feel so good, bro. It's like, yeah,
I mean, yeah, the memes were good, but I know how to end this conversation right here. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh yeah, that's it. You're right. You're 100% right. I am so excited. It is well overdue for him to be in this. Like, yes. I didn't know I needed this until he was there, and I was like, oh, yeah, they're gonna throw him in this. I hope he comes back. Holy guacamole. Oh, Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, it's like how, like, they need, like, I feel like they need, like, Leonardo DiCaprio somewhere in here, too. Oh, like, boy.
Speaking of which, did you see that new Once Upon a Time in Hollywood poster? Because it is shit.
I know.
It looks like fake. It looks fake. I was like, what is... And there was literally an IndieWire... I mean, you know, take this as you will, but, like, there was an IndieWire article on that specific thing. Yeah. And they were like, why is this poster so bad? Especially compared to all his other ones.
True, yeah.
But, yeah. Anyway, what did you think of the de-aging in Captain Marvel? It was like not bad.
Actually, like Fury wasn't terrible.
Yeah. And it definitely helps that like Samuel L. Jackson does not age like at all. He's 70 years old.
You're kidding.
He's 70.
Alexa, how old is Samuel L. Jackson? I don't believe this. He's 70.
Yeah.
He looked good. Who's the other guy that they de-aged?
Clark Gregg.
Yeah.
Character actor Clark Gregg.
He wasn't terrible.
He was fun. The thing is that,
he didn't look younger, though.
He kind of has looked the same since, like, leaving the womb, I'm pretty
he
sure.
looks like Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd also hasn't aged,
yes.
Like, at all.
Yeah. But I feel like Clark Gregg has always had, like, a mildly receding hairline just forever.
Yeah, and they kind of just added a little bit to him.
Yeah. He just looked a little bit, like, he looked Facetune, and I was like, okay, that's fine.
True, that's the best way to put it. It looked like they took, like premium Facetune.
Yeah, like, no pores. Pores are gone.
Nothing. He was just a baby. But I was like, Fury was okay.
Yeah, he's probably...
I could tell
the best by far out of, like, all their past attempts.
I mean, I hate it's really hard when movies nowadays just get stuck in this, well, we need this old character to be young. What do we do?
Yeah.
Like the Star Wars syndrome. You know what I mean? Where they did, they did Leia, but that was very different.
Yeah.
But then they also did that other general who's like been dead for like a decade. And I'm like, y'all did not, you could have just written around it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You could have just written around it. But like this case, it worked well. I was fine.
Yeah.
Like Samuel L. Jackson was good. He looked a little smooth. There were a couple of times when he would like smile that like, I'm like, I can see that your skin is just being like shoot. I'm like, what did they?
It felt a little bit like Henry Cavill mustache removal esque, you know?
Oh my god. That was so bad.
Where you can just like feel the mustache being there, but like it's like a phantom mustache, and you just like. Yeah.
Phantom age.
But, like, at least with Samuel L. Jackson, I could forget that I was watching, like, not actually him. But with Clark Gregg, I couldn't quite forget. It felt like,
he was so insignificant, though.
Yeah.
Like, he was just in there, like, 4 significant times, and I was like, bye. But Samuel L. Jackson wasn't bad. I wasn't mad about it. I was like, good job. At least you didn't, like, holograph him in or something like that. Edit him in.
Yeah.
Use a real guy.
Yeah. Well, let's see. What else do we have to discuss? Well, I know for sure, if I were to ever encounter an AI that took the form of who I most admire, who else would it be but Annette Bening? She's good, though. It's like, yeah, sure.
That was random.
It is random. It's like... Why? But, whatever. I don't really feel any way about it.
It was like a little thing. It was just didn't make the movie better or worse. You know what I mean? Like, I just watched it and I was like, oh, that lady. Oh.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna kind of breeze through the plot really quick just to see if there's anything that comes up. Okay. According to Wikipedia, in 1995 on the Kree Empire's capital planet of Hala, Star Force member Veers, which is like the whole Veers thing, it's like, okay, I don't know.
I would have said Veers if I looked at that.
Yeah, oh yeah, me too. No, but that wouldn't have been sci-fi enough.
True.
Also just like the words Kree and Skrull.
I already have a grievance. How her blood turned blue after she got blasted?
He gave her a blood transplant.
I forgot. Yeah. But that was like a weird contribution.
Oh, they really had to like make that known. He was like, explain to me what happened to you, and she was like, you gave me a blood transplant. And I was like,
yeah, that whole part actually was really, really confusing to me. I understood what was happening, but I understood the setup, but I was like, why is this happening? Like, I feel like this is more information than I need to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Was that to make us understand that like she was immortal because of his blood? But are the other Krells?
It felt like it was like just to make sure that like audience members wouldn't be like, but wait a second. But at the same time, why did they choose that one specific detail to explain when like with so many other things in this movie, I'm still like, but wait a second. Whatever. Because like I don't really care about plot holes, you know? It's like you have to kind of give that up if you want to enjoy
a Marvel movie.
Anyways, suffers from recurring nightmares involving an older woman. I love how, like, that could mean anything. Recurring nightmares involving an older woman. Like,
what the hell?
What's the older woman doing? Yon-Rogg, her mentor and commander, trains her to control her abilities. Oh, yeah. really laying on the whole emotion thing thick.
That was so annoying. I
was
spent the
like-
entire time being like, it was like, I'm like, is this a play at how women are told to control their emotions?
Yes.
Also, like, this, like, mysterious past that's, like, taunting her. I'm like, this is a trope that's been used 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
way too many times.
Yeah, and I have, like, heard people say that it does kind of suck that amnesia is a thing that's often, like, feminized in stories. And, like, it's just another example of women kind of, like, not knowing their own, like abilities or bodies or, like...
Yeah.
But their brains. But at the same time, I think it kind of helps subvert that trope by... Like, all her kind of fish out of water jokes are not, they don't kind of follow this, like, born sexy yesterday syndrome. Have you heard about that? Mm-hmm. There's this video on YouTube. It's like a video essay by, like, Nerd Writer or one of those people. Mm. And it talks about a trope that's in a lot of, like, sci-fi specifically, where a woman will kind of, like, come either to Earth or into being as a full-grown, beautiful woman, but, like, not have an understanding of how the world works or how, like, her body works or have any knowledge of how, like, sexy she is. And then she meets this guy who could be, like, like a total schlub, but because it's the first man she's ever seen, it's like, oh, a man, and he gets to, like, explain the world to her and be the first one that she, like, discovers her sexuality with. And like, Little Mermaid is even like that, but, like,
very
The
much
Fifth
like that.
Element and Splash, right? And I don't know, in Wonder Woman kind of has that too, unfortunately. I think that it's more, like, nuanced than that, because it's not, like, that simple, because she's obviously, like, an actual complex character with a lot of, like, power that she does know how to use eventually. But I like how in this, all those kind of, like, what's Earth jokes, where she's, like, going around in her armor and, like, talking to people about alien invasions and whatever, are much less kind of, like,
I'm stupid,
clueless.
teach me.
Yeah, exactly. And more, she's, like, totally sure of herself.
She knows she's smarter.
Yeah.
She's
waiting for everybody else to catch up.
Well, then there are sometimes, like, it's interesting how, like, sometimes, like, she'd be like, I don't know anything about Earth. And then sometimes she would do things where I was just like, well, how do you know how this all works?
Yeah. Well,
You know
maybe
what I
that's
mean?
part of, like, the memories coming.
But, like, also I was always very confused about whether the memories were coming back or whether she was just being reminded of them and saw them. Like, it was very difficult to determine whether it was remembering or transplanting memories into her mind.
Yeah, I don't really know. And also, like, on the thing of her being emotional, it's interesting how it doesn't really, like, Jude Law keeps telling, I'm not going to call him Yon-Rogg, I'm just going to call him Jude Law. Keeps telling her that she's too emotional and that her emotions, like, end up making her lose. But we don't really see, like, examples of that.
Yeah, because you jump into that fight scene, he's like, you're going to suck until you control your emotions.
Yeah.
I'm like, also, it's been 6 years and
Yeah.
you're still dealing with this shit?
Yeah, And it's like, I wonder if maybe that was because either it's supposed to be, like, showing kind of how the double standard of him seeing her as so emotional when she's, like, not even like, she's not insanely, she doesn't ever have, like, any breakdowns or anything like that, and he just kind of processes her, like, very minor, like, cracking jokes or whatever as, like, too much emotion. Or if it's to show that she has kind of, like, lost touch with that side of herself since her amnesia, and as she, like, starts to discover who she was, she becomes more emotional, like, and she does that with, like, Maria in that scene outside. But yeah, it was kind of weird.
It's also interesting that, like, they put her in a position where she was so close to being able to, like, figure out her past.
Yeah.
Like, she was so connected to this, and, like, I kept being like, throughout the whole film, I'm like, well, y'all knew that, like, if she landed on Earth, like, things would come back, or, like, she'd be able to figure it out.
Yeah, this was, like, a pretty shoddy plan on their part.
Yeah, I kind of was like, this is very, very odd. I felt a little confused by that. I felt a little, like, but also it was kind of like, how did the Skrulls know that she had memories that were significant?
Yeah, actually, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Because then at that point, if they knew that she was related to Mar-Vell, wouldn't they have just been like, hey, here's a photo of Mar-Vell and you. Like, we know that you guys work together, because they obviously were working with Mar-Vell. Yeah. So they obviously knew that Carol Danvers existed. So why didn't they just straight up be like the first time? Like,
I know.
Oh shit, you know Mar-Vell.
Yes.
Here's the whole situation.
Been like, hey, we're buddies with her. You can trust us. Instead, they just had this, like, weird, quick tangent. I think I have a major crush on Ben Mendelsohn, who played, what's his name? Telos?
Titty. I don't know how to say that.
And also, he's on a villain streak. We last talked about him on Ready Player One.
Yeah.
But, I really...
His voice is good.
Love him.
He has a good voice. That worked really, really well.
Yeah.
Because he played Titty Tai, whatever. And then he also played the boss at, isn't that the same guy?
The boss of what?
The Fury's boss.
Oh, yeah. They had it be him.
Yeah, I thought that was a great touch. I thought that was a great touch. That was so fun, because it was like, real him?
Yeah.
Fake him. Like, I was like, that's so fun.
Yeah. He's a silver fox.
True. He has like a Martin Freeman kind of energy.
Oh,
you
but
know
like,
what I mean?
Not quite as innocent, you know?
True.
Martin Freeman, I think you could, like, just kind of, like, you know, throw him around a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyways, so during a mission to rescue an undercover operative infiltrating a group of Skrulls, alien shapeshifters with whom the Kree are at war, Veers is captured by a Skrull commander, Talos. Taken aboard their Earthbound vessel and subjected to a memory probe. Nothing like a good memory probe. Veers escapes and crash lands in Los Angeles. Her presence attracts S.H.I.E.L.D. agents Nick Fury and Phil Coulson, whose investigation is interrupted by a Skrull attack. In the ensuing chase, Veers recovers a crystal containing her extracted memories, while Fury kills a Skrull impersonating Coulson. Oh, in the train scene, which is apparently like an homage to the French Connection. Oh. Wish I were cultured enough to know that.
Yeah, me too.
There's a cameo by Kelly Sue DeConnick, who was the writer for the Captain Marvel comics for a while and kind of like really pioneered her like kind of female empowered character, apparently.
Oh.
She passes her on the train, or when she's getting on the train, and she's very like kind of like quirky looking glasses, like Hot Topic meets ModCloth type of.
Also, there was the Stan Lee.
That was adorable. I won't lie. Like, love Stan, rest in paradise. But in the old cameos, like, I was pretty split a lot of the time. Like, sometimes they kind of made me, like, groan a little bit. But this, like, made me want to cry. Bawl my eyes
it
out.
Was sad.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'll have a cameo in Endgame. He must.
Oh.
Because my friend and I, we were arguing with this. I actually won 50 cents. Because I said, yes, he will be in this. They filmed this like a year ago, and he died in November. So, like, Endgame, they definitely filmed before November. Yeah. And even Far From Home, I can see him having a cameo.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Like, he'll have a cameo in a while. And But I liked it. I liked the groany, like the cringy ones, though. You know what I mean? This was a good one.
I mean, now I do, at least.
Sure.
That was just a good one, objectively.
Sure, that was a great one.
Blah, blah, blah. Talos, disguised as S.H.I.E.L.D. Director Keller, orders Fury to work with Veers and keep tabs on her. Using her extracted memories, Veers and Fury go to the Project Pegasus installation at a U.S. Air Force base.
Why was it named Pegasus?
That's from, they talk about it in another one of the movies. I don't know. Where they discover Veers was a pilot presumed to have died in 1989. Blah, blah, blah. Dr. Wendy Lawson. blah, blah, blah.
If you chose your, like, own name, why would you go for Wendy? Like, if you'd be like, oh, yeah, any name, call me Wendy.
Also, apparently, Lawson used to be, surprise, a guy in the comics. Another guy with just, like, gray hair, so they just, pop Annette Bening in there, and, yeah. And then Goose. What'd you think of Goose? What was your take? Your
Best
Goose
part.
take?
Best part. Truly the best part. Truly, there was so nothing bad about that. And then when you find out he was a Flurgan and he did the little thing, and I was like, and then they did the little piece where he didn't attack it because it was Tidios.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, Tylo, shoo-doo bop bop. I was like, that was so good. That was so well done.
Yeah.
And then the post credit trailer, the second one, where it was him spitting up the Tesseract like it was a hairball. I was like, this is...
We all felt that about to happen. And when it came, I was not sorry.
I was like, they could either have given us a substantial good post-trailer credit, or they could have just fucked us over and did that. And I was like, I'm so not mad.
Yeah, I was here for it.
I think it was one of the best post-credit trailers besides Spider-Verse when they did the second one where it was like, or when it was like the comic book.
Yes.
And it's like, what did you? I was like, this Spider-Verse, you've done nothing wrong. Spider-Verse is the best movie ever. I'll say that until I die. But this was a pretty close second.
Yeah. It's good. Everybody I saw it at Movie Tavern, which is apparently doing a new deal on Thursdays.
Tuesdays.
No, Thursdays.
For the free
Regal
popcorn?
is Tuesdays.
No, it's Tuesdays. I've gone to
No,
Movie
but
Tavern.
I saw it on Thursday, and they said it was the new deal. $6.
No, it's Tuesdays, $5 with free popcorn.
No, it's Thursdays, $6 with free popcorn.
No,
I went.
Wait a second.
I did this last Thursday.
But I did it last Tuesday. No.
And last Thursday, she was like, it's a new deal. We just started it last week. And it was the lady wearing the yellow wraparound sunglasses.
I went on Tuesdays. Is it Tuesdays and Thursdays? No, it literally cannot be. No, Thursdays are still a big movie day. They can't do that. That's premiere days.
Are you sure you're not confusing this with Regal, which is Tuesday?
I went on a Tuesday. Listeners, I went on a Tuesday. No, okay. You know what? I know how to find this. Mm-hmm. Keep chatting while I check through my email.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, this is not related
Movie
to what you just
Tavern,
said.
Don't miss it. $5 Tuesday.
I went there on a Thursday.
Maybe they were doing a special deal that it's senior matinees on Thursdays. Or Fast Fridays. No, it's Student Thursdays!
Wait, then what's Tuesdays?
Holy shit! Tuesdays is $5 with free
anybody?
For anybody.
Oh, and Thursdays is... Wait, so from now on we can only see movies on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh my holy shit.
Also, I ordered a fat tire, and this time I did say fat tire, not flat tire. Thank you very much. And she definitely brought me a much lighter beer. I didn't say anything because I'm a lady. Also, listeners, non-existent listeners, please follow me on Letterboxd at. What is my username? I don't know what it is. What is it? Oh boy.
1, 2, 3.
It's fuck, I actually don't know. Just look up Alicia. What is it?
How do you not know?
How do I find it? Oh, it's Alicia Dev. ALICIADEV. I've got the good reviews, everybody.
Roger Ebert who?
That's right.
Edgebird?
Where were we? They go to Louisiana. Good. Love Maria, love Monica. Solid. Finds out she's Carol. Skrulls are refugees. Black box, okay. And then she goes back to meet with Annette. What?
The black box part was funny where the dial-up was funny. I laughed.
Yeah, it was fine.
I like that it was a flashback moment too. I like that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Continue.
And she meets with Annette again. and finds out that the little chip in her neck was
a bootleg.
yeah. And then Goose is a flirkin and blah blah. Oh, something that drove me fucking nuts was the speakers in my theater were messed up, where like it seemed like there were like multiple layers of sound, right? And one of them was fine because all during the previews it sounded fine, and then right before the movie it played like a new movie tavern thing where it's
it
like
was silent. Yes, happened to me.
Oh my god, it's like the guy, like the guy, founder
Marcus,
of movie,
Marcus.
classic Marcus. He's like, "Welcome to movie tavern, enjoy the
and it was
movie."
quiet. It was silent,
and it was so it sounded like he was 10 years away.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, whatever, this is just a weird thing, and the rest of the movie will be fine. And the movie starts, and it sounds fine. And then when it gets to the part where like it's supposed to be this climactic moment where No Doubt is like supposed to be like playing during this fight scene, I hear Gwen Stefani from like 10 galaxies away, like, and I was like, what?
Oh man,
and
that
I
was a
like,
great
maybe
scene.
the
I'm
sound
sorry.
mixing is just weird. I know, it was so sad, and I could tell that it was supposed to be like really like cool,
loud and powerful,
but it wasn't. And then when the end credits start playing, I hear like whatever Celebrity Skin by Hole starts playing. And it's like going through, it's like Brie Larson as Carol Danvers, and it's like, "Oh, make me over." It was so upsetting.
That's so sad,
like,
honestly.
It
I'm
like
sorry.
sucked the wind out of the movie.
Damn, that sucks. Mine was full volume. So your movie tavern theater sucked. We went on Thursday.
You know,
Tuesdays
one time this
better.
happened to me at Regal with Zootopia, and I had to go up to the manager and tell him that the sound wasn't working, and they fixed it like 3/4 of the way through.
You should have done that with a movie tavern or gone and complained and gotten a free ticket.
Well, I didn't really realize until it was too late.
Well, you could have gone at the end and been like, that sucked. And you could have been that lady and then been like, what are you going to do? I'm never coming back. And they'd be like, a free movie ticket. And you'd be like, oh.
First, I'd have to get a haircut with a little, and tease that shit up. You know, like, can I see the manager
dye your hair
haircut?
blonde.
Yep.
Got some highlights in the blonde hair. Yeah.
Anyways, there's a fight on that ship and whatever, and it explains how Fury's eye gets fucked up.
That was great.
And I was like, okay, I feel like that had to happen. And then, oh boy, so Ronan, yeah, we know Ronan from whatever,
Guardians.
Yes, and I could feel. I was like, I know this is the moment I'm supposed to be like, women, but I totally fell for it when he was like, we need to come back for the weapon. And then his little sidekick is like, the core? And
No, the
woman.
Yeah,
and
great.
I was like, ugh. So.
That got me. Yeah. Also, I hate Ronan, but that was fun. That was like another fun, like, ooh, I know that guy.
Yeah.
He was in the other movie. He's my buddy, Ronan. What's up, dog? But I was also like, I wish she had just gone pew pew. Would have saved a lot of trouble.
Yeah, would have.
Yeah. So, Captain Marvel sucks.
But she sure did go pew pew with Jude Law. I like that.
That was, the pew pew was great. And then
when
she put him.
He was like, why don't you, like, do this like a man and, like, use our 2 fists? Because that's fair. And she was just like, no, why would I do that? Yeah, I liked that.
True, that was so fun. And then she puts him in the ship. She's like, send him a message.
Yeah.
I'm gonna end the war. Also, I love the use of war. They're so dramatic. This is a war. The Skrulls.
To end wars,
Yeah,
not
also,
start.
I kept hearing skulls instead of scrolls. The whole time we're scrolls instead of scrolls. Scrolls are like, the scrolls are coming. And I'm like,
that for sure felt like something that like 5th grade me would write in a little chapter book in her notebook. Like scrolls and Kree. I remember I had a character named like like Forrest or something, and that reminds me. I am glad that Carol's character was not. I kind of, when I was hearing things about it beforehand, I thought it was going to be a Katniss type of deal, where it's just the like classic like capital S strong female character, and it's just like the take no shit like. Whatever, kind of like just masculine, you know, not that those are kind of like defined terms, but just sort of someone who like doesn't like emotion or like anything feminine or whatever. And I was glad that she
went well beyond that. Yeah. True, because Katniss is like, ew, I'm a woman.
Yeah.
And I was like, this was a little more subtle.
Yeah.
Like, being a woman wasn't the key part of Captain Marvel.
Yes.
You know, it was just her, like, power.
Yeah.
And then she was also a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it was good. And yeah, that first stinger was fine with Cap and Black Widow and Bruce and
doesn't give you anything.
It was just like, you know, what you expected.
What's the other guy? What's the other Iron Man? Bootleg Iron Man? Hawkeye? No, Hawkeye.
Falcon.
Falcon, yeah.
Yeah. Is that Don Cheadle? Yeah.
Or is Falcon the other guy?
No.
One of those. Whoever the guy is. He was
Who? Oh, no. Falcon is Anthony Mackie. Who's Don Cheadle? He's someone. I always forget what, like, he is.
Hey, Siri. Who is Don Cheadle's character in Avengers?
Here's what I found on the web for who is Don Cheadle's character.
War Machine.
War Machine.
So just want everyone to know
they're
that
both bootleg Iron Man.
my phone is faster than Alicia's computer, so.
You know what? It's fine. It's true. This has maybe 10% of its storage free right now.
Oh, true.
And after this podcast, it might be 1%.
Well, it's the end of college, so after this, you can go.
That's
shoo-ba-doo,
right.
pop, pop, because we're gonna how they say in French, graduate.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna have to do long distance podcasts.
Oh boy.
You know what I mean? I'll get a little microphone, and then we'll, like, how do they do that? Do you
I have
call?
thought about. I was like, should we just like get on the phone and? Yeah.
Well, no, but I mean, I'll get my little podcast set up wherever you are. I'll call you in. I'll be like, "Sup, dog," and then we'll do it long distance.
We're basically an NPR.
Unless we happen to end up in the same place, though, that's probably unlikely. But we'll continue.
Well, Nova area, who knows? We're doomed to live in Nova for the rest of our
No,
lives.
I'm in Chicago for the next 2 years.
What?
Yeah, I'm in Chicago for the next 2 years.
For what?
Teach for America.
Shit. Oh, you're smart. You did Teach for America.
2 years.
That's the way to go.
So long distance. I'll call you from, as they say, you know, as a Chicago native, Chi-Town. Or as they say, Chi-Town.
Classic.
But yeah.
Yeah. Did I have any other things?
We're going to have to do one for Endgame now, though. I just really think I'm going to have so many thoughts.
Absolutely.
So many thoughts. I actually, you know, I hope in the future, surprise guests. So my friend I went with, who you met a couple of times, he was at that party I brought, and like at the IT pregame.
Torger?
Yeah, Torger. He didn't agree with me on anything. He thought that the plot was good. And I was like,
of Captain Marvel?
Yeah, he thought it was more substantial than I perceived it to be.
Why?
I don't know. I really don't know. But we both did agree never again. Though I think I'm actually seeing it again tomorrow. That's only because it's Super Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
Oh, and so it's $5. I cannot believe that. Thursdays too.
Wow. I'm never going to Regal again.
Yeah. Movie time, free popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yum. Thank
Problem
you, Marcus.
with that was not enough butter. Not enough butter. I'm not going to be that bitch who's like, can you please give me extra butter on my free popcorn? Yeah.
True. And I kept being like, I knew what the point is. They wanted to have more.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm not gonna.
No.
Give me my free water, give me my free popcorn. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna enjoy. Though I'm hesitant to watch Endgame and Movie Tavern because I don't want people walking in front of me because it's like a restaurant style. You know what I mean? I get a little distracted by that, but I'm also like, I'm just picturing myself sitting there drinking an ice cold beer with watching that movie, like clink clink. I might even get, as they say in the business, nachos.
I was about to say
that black bean burger. Listen, movie theater burgers.
Oh, I had that too. That was good.
Yeah, the movie tavern food is underrated.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, it better be good because it's like kind of pricey.
Yeah, it's like you paid like $12 for that burger, and then I got it one time.
But oh man, those nachos.
Oh shit! But those are
especially
the
like
times.
At Regal. When I saw the favorite at Regal, I was like, oh, I'm hungry. And well, one time I got the saltiest pizza of all time. I don't remember what I was seeing. But that was not good. Oh, I think it was for the Meg.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were there together.
Yeah,
it was for you couldn't even finish it.
The saltiest pizza I've ever. But I was so hungry. And then with the favorite, I got their version of nachos, which is just Tostitos chips
With the nacho cheese.
with the nacho cheese, but the nacho cheese is plasma
Electric yellow.
or something not from here, and I sit down next to Matt. I spill it all down the chair next to me, all down the chair, all over the ground as well. And then I couldn't eat it in the end anyway. So I figured, this is probably a sign from God himself.
We should do one time a podcast fully about different movie theater experiences.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Go through the best, the worst. Because I feel like...
Have you ever done E Street in DC?
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of shabby, but it's like art.
But, yeah, but it has the...
It's got the culture.
Yeah. Is that the one with the... Have you ever done the one in... There's one in like Chevy Chase that has the like rounded screen too.
No.
Yeah. So that's a full experience. That's the one where I went to and I got interviewed for The Hobbit on NPR.
What?
Have I never told you this?
What?
Yeah. I went to the midnight premiere of The Hobbit and NPR was there. And they were like, what do you like? And so, just FYI, I said cool energy on NPR when I was, they were like 16.
To describe The Hobbit?
No, to describe like going to like midnight premieres and stuff. I was like, it has really cool energy. The movie, like the thing starts like 16-year-old Mona Sharaff. And I was like, oh no, why is everything in my life just like 10% embarrassing?
The NPR version of the phrase cool energy would be a sort of cool energy.
Yeah,
you
true.
have to say it like that.
Yeah, with like a Kojo Nambi voice. Is Kojo Nambi like Nova specific?
Yeah. We went to the 1A like where they record at American this summer for DCSI, and they talked a lot about
the Kojo Nambi show.
Yeah,
that's exactly how it says it.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah. Overall, I would say
see it once.
Yes, see it once. It is worth it. Yeah, I had fun. I had more fun anticipating it than watching it.
But still fun.
But it was still really fun. Yeah, and I still very much had that feeling where it was like, ooh, women,
We love women! Yeah, I love Brie Larson. She's great.
Yeah, she's great.
My queen.
My queen. Our collective queen.
The queen.
Our indie to mainstream queen.
Yeah, true. How'd she do the rum and then she did this? Like, good for you. Talk about...
Yeah, that short-term 12 room, spectacular now.
Brie Larson's doing well because that's all I could want for her.
Yeah. I wish her just the very best. Well, I guess for us, we're just waiting for Endgame.
We'll see you when Endgame comes out.
Yeah,
that'll be the next one, and I'll probably have lots of thoughts. You'll probably have lots of thoughts. Mm-hmm. That's a thought provoking one, not in like an intellectual way, but just in a what are they going to do?
God, that's soon, man.
Yeah, it's the day. It's.
How do you feel about like the end of this era?
It's sad because it'll continue. You know what I mean? If I knew this was the end, I'd be like, la la la.
Yeah.
But like, there's like 7,000 Marvel movies lined up for the next 10 years. So you know what? It's like, I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited, and then I'm sad for what is to come because I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch more.
I feel like, I feel like I was about to say I feel like it'll get better because at least we'll have another Captain Marvel and we'll have hopefully Monica be more of a character, judging by the comics. But also it's like, we're getting a Black Widow movie way after we like ever really needed it.
Yeah, a Black Widow movie would have made sense in like 2012.
Like this Captain Marvel is already so fucking late. And it's like Black Widow is just a whole other
also,
layer.
How do you say, Alexa, I don't want any more Scarlett Johansson movies. Like, I just like don't care about that beat. Like, it's fine. You know what I mean? It's fine.
Yeah, we're past that. All right. Well, overall, I would say see it. check it out. Support your
You should
local
start
movie
ending all
tavern
your-
on a Tuesday or a Thursday.
Whichever day is cheaper. So Tuesday, $6, $5.
Especially if you're a senior or a student.
True, and we're not going to be students for much longer, technically, though I'll be using my ID.
Well, yeah, I will be using my ID as long as possible. Also, whenever I sign up for something online, it says, "Are you a student? When is your graduation year?" I'm
2023.
like, oh, 3,049.
Yeah, Spotify. I'm a student.
Yep. Well, tune in next time if there is a next time.
We're going to do one after Endgame.
Goodbye.
Bonsoir.
Superhero, they're the latest, they're the greatest, ultimate superheroes, the Marvel superheroes.